All right, guys, welcome to the 12th episode of our Beyond the Footprints podcast. I am Brandon Hoffines, and I am with SquatchNut.com. I am the founder of SquatchNut.com and the co-host for Beyond the Footprints. Tonight's going to be a little bit interesting. We actually don't have Stu with us tonight. He decided that he was going to fly out yesterday and go see his brother down in Tennessee. So he is going to be going out and taking his brother out on the town. I told him that he needs to go down and go to the Alan Jackson bar and go see my buddy Cody play. Cody actually is a really good friend of mine, and we went to school together in Kuna, Idaho. And that guy, I am just so proud of him and so impressed with everything that he's been able to do with his guitar. This guy is amazing when it comes down to his guitar playing skills. If you guys have not had the chance, and if you guys are ever in Nashville, down in Tennessee, go down to the Alan Jackson bar and go watch my really good friend Cody just wail on his guitar with country music. He's also really, really funny. You go down there and he'll play a little song here and there, and then he'll actually talk a little bit and kind of give some jokes. So he's actually a pretty funny guy. I also had a guest that was supposed to be scheduled to come on today and tell us a little bit about his experiences up in northern Idaho. And unfortunately, he did text me and say that he was pretty sick and wasn't able to make it on this show, and we had to reschedule. So we are going to be just talking solo today, and you're going to be listening to me pretty much the whole time. So, first off, I just want to give a couple of shout outs to our sponsors and our vendors who are actually going to be coming to the SquatchCon Idaho 2023 here in Caldwell on August 26th. So, we have got Squatch Nut and Squatch Juice, MJ Solutions, that's Michael Carrier, Dead on Archery and the Northwest Mountain Challenge, Rack Attack down in Boise, and then we have Boise Bigfoot, Blacks Creek Guide Gear, Seebex Images, and we also have Spider Bow Industry out of Oregon. So we've got a couple of more sponsors and some more vendors that are coming in. So we just want to say thank you to them. Thank you so much. And we want to say thank you to all of those who have purchased tickets, both for the in-person and with the online version, that you're actually going to be able to sit in the couch anywhere in the world and you're going to be watching this live. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to AT&T. They aren't on the list yet, but we're going to be putting them on the list because they did us a huge solid and they actually donated 5 iPhone 14s for us. So that way we can actually record everything that's going on at SquatchCon for all of you folks back home that are able to log in and buy that link, and you'll be able to watch everything that we're doing live right there in Caldwell at Indian Creek Plaza through the iPhone 14s and the AT&T service. I've got to just let you guys know they have put so much money and effort in the last year or two building up the AT&T network here in the Valley. I'm telling you what, back in the day, AT&T was not the thing to go with. I have AT&T and I have a work phone that has Verizon, and I'm going to tell you right now that AT&T, I'm getting quite a bit more service back, even in the backcountry and in the mountains, than I am Verizon. They have spent over $500 million just right here in the local valley trying to better the service. So I'm super, super stoked for that. Super, super appreciative of them sending me 5 iPhone 14s. So then that way we're going to be able to watch and be able to record all of this live for all of those who can't make it. If you can make it in person, please come in person. It's going to be amazing, guys. We are going to be having Doug Hychek, and he is bringing his film crew for the Legends Meet Science 2, and he will be filming and he will be putting all of that into that second documentary and that film, and that will be released as well. So actually get some really cool things going on for SquatchCon Idaho, and if you guys can make it, come down. We also actually just added a VIP dinner that we're going to be having with the celebrities after the event at the Indian Creek Steakhouse. If you've never been to Indian Creek Steakhouse and you love steak, I'm telling you right now, this is one of my favorite places to be. And it's so good and it's amazing food. And you're not going to be disappointed. Plus, you're going to be spending some one on one time with these celebrities at dinner, listening to even more of their stories, being able to engage and talk and ask them questions and whatnot. We have 100 of these tickets left. Actually, I'm so sorry. We have 100 tickets that we actually put up. We have 90 tickets left, and they're $100 each. And you can find all of that also on squashconidaho.com. So you can actually pick that up and get in also with the entry when you either buy a t-shirt or you buy an entry. I also want to remind everybody, August 1st is coming up. That's going to be next week. That's when prices are going to be going to the normal price. So I want everybody to know that the early bird ticket pricing will be going away on August 1st. So hurry up, get your tickets, because the $10 ticket's going to go to 15, and then the $20 t-shirt ticket's going to be going to 25. So that's what it's going to be when everybody comes to the door. That's what it's going to be for normal pricing. So if you want to save a couple of bucks, get there and get your tickets now before August 1st. Anyways, so what I actually kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about today is something that is kind of been resonating with me quite a bit. And to tell you the truth, it really has got me worried and got me a little scared. And last night, me and my wife, we were able to go and watch The Sounds of Freedom. Now, if you guys haven't had the chance to watch The Sound of Freedom yet, I highly encourage you all to go. Now, it's not a film that's been, has a lot of money into it. So it's not a film that's going to be just like outlandishly crazy and CG and all of this other stuff. It is based off of true events. It is actually things that happened. And I am telling you right now, it really opens your eyes just to the evil that a lot of this world is coming to with trafficking and child trafficking. So I've actually done just a couple of staggering statistics here that I'm going to pull up, and I want to share with you guys because this is amazing. And it's not amazing, it's actually really sad. It's amazing in a way that I had no idea just how bad this really was. And so if we can actually do something to bring light to, and understanding and educate the people, then just like what Tim Ballard said, is we can stand united and we can stand together and we can actually stop this evil. So there are more than 365,000 missing children in our country each year. And 30%, guys, of those missing children are being trafficked. That's that's right around 109 to 110,000 kids every year being abducted and then sold into sex slavery. Guys, this is something that we need to be talking about. This is something that we need to be bringing to people's attention. This stuff is real. And it's so sad because I was actually just talking to a really good friend of mine on the phone today about how awesome it was when we were growing up in Wyoming. We grew up in a little tiny town called Bedford, Wyoming. And if you guys know where that's at, it's in Star Valley. If you guys don't know where Star Valley is, it's right on the border of Idaho and Wyoming. And if you know where Alpine is, if you're going to Jackson or Hoback or whatever, that's part of Star Valley. And that's where I grew up. That's where I learned to love the outdoors. That's where I learned to go out and hunt and fish. And I've experienced a couple of things that were pretty crazy, like a UFO. My whole family, we actually saw a UFO over the mountains. And that's going to be another story for another time. But I loved Wyoming, and what we would do is we literally would leave my house and we would walk down our mile long dirt road that we lived on. It was in a little subdivision. Everybody had 5 to 10 acres. There was probably 5 to 6 homes in this little subdivision. And we would then ride our skateboards 5 more miles away to our church, and we would skateboard and we would ride rollerblades and we would ride bikes and we would just sit there and chill with all of our friends. We all met there. It was like the hangout, but we literally had to ride our skateboards or our bikes or our rollerblades all the way down 5 miles from the house to this location without any parents, without anybody actually watching us. And we were gone every day. It was actually so cool that my really good friend at the time, and I don't know if she's still there or not, but she was the mail courier for the post office there. And she had one of those like really vintage soda pop machines, and she stocked it with Mountain Dew because that was just something we all loved, and it was 25 cents a can for a Mountain Dew. And that was back when they used real sugar in their Mountain Dews. And I am telling you, it was so good. And we just had such a great time. And we had nothing to worry about. You come to today and we fast forward 25, 27 years. It's not like that anymore. It's completely different. You can't have your kids even answer the door when somebody knocks on the door anymore because it could be somebody there just to swipe them and take them away. It's just so sad that our kids can't have the childhood that we had. And we've got to be even more protective. We've got to be even more aware of our surroundings and the people around us because man, like watching a lot of these videos, there was actually some videos that were played at the very beginning of the movie that showed kids being abducted literally in the mall with their parents. The parents turned their back for 5-10 minutes and the kids were just swiped, gone. There was another one that this mom was sleeping in a train station, a train depot, waiting for the train, and this guy came over and literally just swiped the baby that was laying in her arms. Like, there really are just getting to that point where they're getting pretty brave, and they're not going to really care, and they're just going to do it. So you have to be vigilant with your kids. This film took 5 years to get into the theaters. It wasn't 5 years in production. It was done and it was ready for theaters 5 years ago. But they got hit with so many roadblocks. They got hit with so many people backlashing it and saying that it wasn't a good film. Even Disney, which I'm not going to support anymore. Disney is not going to be supported by me or my family anymore. We will not be going to Disneyland or Disney World. And there was actually 3 or 4, if I can remember right, people that worked at Disney that were caught either molesting children or they were taking them and they were selling them for trafficking. So I'm not taking my kids to Disney. I'm not going to be doing that at all. And if we do go into any amusement park, they will be right here, right next to me the whole entire time. And I will make sure that they are right next to me the entire time. My really good friend posted something on LinkedIn today, and I was reading through the post, and that came across. And he said, my brother just posted this, and this happened to him in Stanley, Idaho at Redfish Lake. Now, if you guys don't know where Stanley, Idaho is or Redfish Lake is, get on a map, check it out, Google map it. It is the most beautiful place in central Idaho that I can tell you. It is absolutely gorgeous. The mountains, the Sawtooth Mountains are just jagged and they just stick up out of the earth like razors. And I mean, they just are so majestic and so beautiful. Like, if you haven't been to Stanley, get there. They have quite a few hot springs around, and Redfish Lake is absolutely beautiful. I have made it a life goal to be able to, take my boat up there one day and just go boating with my family. But that water is so cold. It's like 65 degrees when it's really, really hot at the end of the season. Like right now, it's still at 54 or 55 degrees is where it's at because there's still a lot of runoff coming from the mountains. We had a lot of snow, but it's just a small, quaint little town, and you would not have any inclination or idea that any of this stuff would ever happen. So his brother posted that last weekend, this is last weekend, guys, that they were up there as a family and their 15-year-old girl was, uh, well, this 15-year-old daughter was um, approached by a 50-year-old woman. And the 50-year-old woman was asking her if she could come over and help her get some stuff out of her car so she can go to the lake. And she was, yeah, fine as a 15-year-old girl, and she's 50, and what harm, right? There's no harm, there's no foul. I'm gonna go do a good deed and help this lady out. As she started walking with her, she started to see who was around the car, and these gentlemen who came out of the car. There was 3 of them, and sure enough, she got really, really scared, and she didn't really want to go anywhere with that woman, and her gut feeling told her to turn around and walk away as fast as she could. As she started to do that, the lady kind of started getting a little bit more, um, what's the word that I want to say, like belligerent, if you will, and started kind of getting really, really mean and was like, "It's okay, it's okay. Like, I just need all this help, and like, do you have any other friends that we can go and we can have come help us?" And she just was, "No, no, no, I'm going to leave." And she went back and she told her dad kind of what was going on, and she just didn't have a really good feeling about it. So they called the sheriff's office, and the sheriff actually pulled up the security cameras that were in the parking lot, and they still are in the parking lot. And they were actually watching the footage of these people. And the three gentlemen, that woman, they never went back to the beach like they said that they were going to go to. They also never came back and never talked to anybody else. They all got in the car and they all left. So that kind of goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter how old you are, it can still happen. And you have got to be aware of your surroundings. You've got to be aware of everything that's going on around you. And you have got to understand that this can happen to you no matter where you are. And again, it's very, very sad. Again, it's very depressing to see all of this. But there are so many things to be grateful for. And just like they said in the movie, and it's not living in fear. You can't live in fear, right? You have to live with hope that when something bad happens, someone will take a stand. And I am very grateful for Tim Ballard for doing this. Something that just blew me away. And I don't want to give away too much about the movie because if you haven't seen it yet, you need to go see it. But I am going to say this, something that just completely blew me away was when he went to Colombia and they were telling him that he needed to come home, his time was up, and he quit his job. And he said, "You know what? This is more important than my job. I have got to save these kids." And because of that, he saved, I think it was like 150, 200 kids or something like that. Without him being able to do that, there's no way that those kids would have been saved. Those kids still would have been trafficked. Those kids probably wouldn't be alive today. And most of those kids, when they actually expire, they're no longer worth what they're worth on the street in those environments, if you will. They actually do go out and they sell their organs on the black market. I'm telling you guys, like, this is unreal, and we've got to just be more vigilant, and we have got to be paying more attention to this stuff. But they were so right and so true that we can't live in fear, right? We can't live in fear. We have to go out and we have to live our life, and we have to go out there and we have to live with hope, and we have to be making a change, a difference. And if we do it together, and if we can actually all just come together and do it, and like a band, like a huge tidal wave, if you will, then things will change and we can actually make a change and we can actually make a difference. So, just a little bit about that. That's something that's kind of been weighing on my mind a little bit, just how heavy it is. I've got a 2.5 little girl who I just absolute love. She is just the cutest little thing. And I'm sorry, guys. Everybody out there, I know you've probably got some kids and they're really, really cute, but I know I'm a little biased, but mine's the cutest. And she is so funny. I found her the other day. I was in the garage and I sell oil on the side, Schaefer Oil for my other company. And all of a sudden I hear this bang, 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 bang. And I'm talking to my customer and he just starts laughing. And I'm like, what the heck is she doing? I turn around. She's got a hammer. And you know those like little red and yellow like play school cars like you kind of power with your feet, kind of like the Flintstones. Well, we found a blue Ram because I love Ram and Cummins, and she just had to have this blue truck just like her dad. So we bought this thing for like $5 at Goodwill or something like that. And she saw me working on my truck, and I was trying to put my exhaust back on because it came off, and so I was kind of banging on it a little bit, trying to get it to go back into place. And she's over there banging on this play school toy, right? A little truck. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "I'm fixing it, daddy." I mean, how can you just like not get upset with that, right? I just started laughing and I said, "Oh my gosh, man, you are just the cutest thing. The cutest thing." She is so funny. I sat down and wanted to have a bowl of cereal for dinner tonight. I know it's weird. I get it. It's crazy, but I like cereal any time of the day. It doesn't matter. And she's like, "Daddy, a bowl of cereal? Bowl of cereal?" I gave her a bowl, and she sat down next to me, and we ate a bowl of cereal together. And she loves hunting. She loves watching hunting. She loves watching like Bluey and Frozen, and she loves all of that stuff, right? I know that I said we don't support Disney. I get that. That was before all of this happened, but um, she loves Frozen, and we sit down and we will watch hunting, and she's always about the deer, always about the elk. She likes watching some of the YouTube channels that I'm on. That's my daddy. That's my daddy. She's just so awesome, and I love her. And just to think of anything that would happen to her just kills me. And I don't want anything to happen to her. I want her to live a really happy life. And we can't live in fear. We can't live in with anxiety because that's going to then translate over to them. And it's not going to be conducive at all for them growing up. And we can't do that. We've got to be the parent that's going to be protective, and we've got to teach them. But we also can show them that, there's still a lot of joy in this life, and there's still a lot of things that we can be grateful for. And we need to be that, and we need to be that example, and we need to show them how to treat other people, right? That's one thing that I learned from my dad. My dad, like a lot of you guys know, he took his life 3.5 years ago, so mental health is something that's really, really heavy on my heart. But what I learned from my dad was the way that he could just build and fortify and just create relationships amongst anybody he came across. And because of that, we have got so many friends, and we have so many acquaintances, and we have so many relationships across this whole entire nation. And I am so grateful for it. And that's something that we've also got to instill into our kids. So go out there and go watch the movie if you haven't watched it, and just educate yourself. And let's do something about this. Let's stand up and let's fight against it. Let's see what we can do together, and that way we can actually stop it. So if you see anything that is just out of the ordinary, it doesn't seem right, definitely call 911, and let's get these things all taken care of, and let's get these guys in jail where they belong. Anyways, enough of that. I just wanted to let you guys know that was something that has been weighing on my heart quite heavy, and it's just been crazy. And like fully support that film. I fully support what their message is and everything. And for it to take 5 years to get into theaters, it just blows my mind. So we got some really cool news. So I actually had a really good meeting today. So for this is with Squatch Nut and Squatch Juice and Squatch Con and all that stuff. There is a kid here in Eagle, Idaho that is actually basically pre NASCAR. And this kid is awesome. He's 18 years old, but he is racing like a true professional, and he is going up the ladder quick. And we had a really discussion about mental health today. Me and his dad at lunch, and how we're going to be partnering up with Squatch Nut and his racing. And it's Jacob Smith Racing. If you guys haven't heard of him, go check him out. Go to his Facebook page, his Instagram page, and his TikTok. He's actually got some pretty good photos and some clips of him racing and all of that. He just won the second time in a row for this race last week, which is putting him up on a pretty good pedestal. And this kid, for being 18 years old, just with the um, ability to go out and network and work and share his vision and his story with everybody to get sponsorships, is absolutely just impressive and mind blowing. And I couldn't have been just more honored to be there at lunch with this kid. And what we talked about is we're going to be working together, and we're going to be trying to do something and making a difference for mental health. And we're going to be working with 988, and he's going to be putting my logo on his cars and on his clothes, his suit. And we're going to start doing some seminars and stuff. And so I asked him to come onto the podcast, and he's totally down to do so, to share with you guys his story, with how he started racing, why he loves it, what makes him so passionate about racing, and what racing can do to change um, everybody around him in this world. And that's the one thing that I did with Squatch Nut is I wanted to create something that was so iconic that when everybody sees it and they know it's my Sasquatch because it has the Idaho in between its legs, they're all going to want to be behind it. All the stores are going to want to carry it in their stores. They're going to be like, "Can we associate this logo with our brand?" I've already been approached by it, and it's been amazing. And we're going to be giving back. We're going to be donating 5% of all of our net proceeds, either to Outfitters for Hope, who take kids out and want to go on a hunting or a fishing trip, who just can't do it because of their physical disabilities or their life-threatening illnesses. And then we're going to be also doing to mental health. So you get to choose where you want your 5% to go. When you go to squatchnut.com and you make a purchase at the checkout, you're going to see a drop down. It's going to say, where do you want your 5% to go? And then you can say, awesome, I'm going to say it's going to go to Outfitters for Hope. Or, hey, I want it to go to mental health, because just like what they said, I've lost 10 friends to suicide, and I've lost my dad and a few family members. And it's truly, truly sad. But we've all experienced it, and we've all had some way or another been involved with someone that we know, or someone that we knew through our friends or our family, who took their life because of mental health. And it's something that is really, really serious, and we have got to do something different. So we are going to be working together on that, and we want to try to make a difference. So go follow that kid. His name is Jacob Smith. One more time, Jacob Smith Racing. It's pretty awesome. JSR Racing. He's really, 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 really good, and he's got a really great head on his shoulders. So we are going to be having some really cool guests coming up here. We're going to be having Michael Freeman coming on the show here shortly. We're going to have Brian Kingsharp coming on the show shortly. We had Jeff Meldrum on, and we had some technical difficulties, but not unfortunately, but fortunately, we actually were able to have a really good recording of that and clean it up as best that we could, and it still came out really good. So we were super grateful for that. And if you guys have any Beyond the Footprints experiences, either here in Idaho or in the Pacific Northwest or anywhere, please get a hold of us at our email at beyondthefootprints@gmail.com. And we would love to hear your story. We'd love to have you come onto the show, tell us a little about who you are, and share with us whatever it is. It doesn't have to be Bigfoot related. It could be UFO related. It could be anything related that is just a little bit different when you're out in the woods, or it's an experience that you just really can't explain, and we would love to hear it. And yeah, we love to talk about that. We love listening to stories like you guys have heard in the last, I don't know, 8 to 9 episodes. We don't judge. We want to listen to everything. We want to ask questions. We're just as curious as anybody else, and we want to get down to the nitty-gritty and just see how true it is. So we will, if there is an opportunity to go out and investigate, we're going to go do that. So we had George on probably 5 podcasts ago that actually he was in the Owyhee Mountains and got a few pictures, if you guys remember that. So we had Jonathan on here easily with his Bigfoot expedition, or Western Bigfoot exploration YouTube channel. And we're going to go out and we're going to do some investigating of that as well in the next few weeks. And then we're going to come back and report. So if you guys, anybody listening, would like to come on and share with us a little bit about you guys and your experiences beyond the footprints, go to beyondthefootprints@gmail.com and send us an email, and we would love to hear it. Or send us a message on our Facebook page, because we do have that as well. And if you haven't been following, or you haven't joined our group, join our chats. We have some really cool things going on, and we have a lot of cool stories of people sharing their stuff. And that's kind of where we get some really good ideas. And we will then message you and say, hey, would you like to be on our podcast? So that's another way that we can reach out to you if that's something that you guys would like to do as well. So, but definitely follow and join our groups. And yeah, we love having everybody on here. We just are so appreciative of all of our listeners. We're so appreciative of everybody that um, has given us some really good advice and who's helped us with our podcast, and it's just been awesome. And we just are so looking forward to for doing this even more so. But again, thank you for everybody. We're going to wrap it up today with this podcast. I just wanted to briefly touch base on that. That's something that was been on my mind and my heart pretty heavy with all of that. And I just want to say thanks again, guys. And I am going to be signing off tonight, a solo, just like I said at the very beginning. So Brandon with squatchnut.com here, and I'm signing off. And you guys have a great evening. And thanks again for everything.